Welcome back. Panelists here, as I mentioned, Chiefs fan and former Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill. Got to work on that icky shuffle. NBC News White House correspondent Carol Lee, Eugene Scott of the Washington Post, and Stephen Hayes, founder of the Dispatch and a new member of the NBC News family. Your peacock cufflinks are in the mail.
Very good.
There. Carol Lee, we've said this was a lifeline politically for the president. Mm-hmm. Did you notice a change in the White House posture this week?
Absolutely. I mean, Chuck, they see this as a reset, a moment to reset. If you think about just the timing of it, it comes a week after those divisions over the voting rights legislation. And so when you talk to White House officials, they cast this as an opportunity to rally the party, to kind of take a breath, remind everybody to what their goals are, and to come together and be unified. And they see two moments where this could be particularly energizing. Obviously, right now, when they have this opportunity, the president's going to go through the process of picking someone, and then the moment when they have a name and somebody that the party can really rally behind. Now, in terms of politically going forward, they don't see this as something that's going to define the midterms. It'll be a line or two in a speech, but for now, it allows them to take a breath, talk quietly about how they figure out a path forward on some of the president's legislative agendas, while also putting forward a unified front after having all these divisions.
Eugene, this is a promise made, and he wants to make it a promise kept. I want to put up these statistics just so people understand why I think so many people believe it's about time for an African-American woman on the high court. There are nearly 1,400 federal judges, just 51 of them right now are African-American women, right? That's less than 4% of everybody. So it's an underrepresented group, as it is in the federal judiciary. The importance of this to African-Americans, getting this representation on the court.
It's significant. As you noted, this is an area in the judiciary that black women have not seen someone who looks like them. But to your notes earlier, it's also important just for people who have a high view of diversity and believe that representation matters. And so many of these constituents were key players in helping Biden get to the White House. So not just black voters, but women, other people of color, progressive liberals, just people who understand that the benches have not looked like the country that so many people find themselves seeing and being represented for in front of these benches.
Claire, you've been in these hearings. You've been star of these hearings at times, depending on people's point of view. What should we expect? Is this one going to be drama-free?
If I had to guess or die here, I would think Mitch McConnell is not going to want to draw this out. Sometimes the drama around the nomination motivates bases. I certainly felt that in 2018.
A reverse, right?
Yeah. A reverse.
Yeah.
So I think, it's a football day. I'll give you the over and under is about 53 votes for the nominee in the Senate. Maybe 54 if he goes
Perhaps
with a
Rob Portman's or two may get in there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski and potentially Lindsay has been a fairly down the middle voter on Biden nominees. So I think this is, and I do think it's really important to remember, when I was a young attorney in the courtrooms of Kansas City, the only woman I'd seen in a black robe was in the church choir.
Right.
So we have made progress in a lot of ways, but not ever have we had a black woman on the Supreme Court. And I am sick and tired of the Republicans going, yeah, 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 because Ronald Reagan said, I'm putting a woman on the court, and they didn't say boo.
Donald Trump said it last time he was in this position.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it feels like what Roger Wicker did, and maybe he didn't, and I don't know if he knows he intended. Did he actually make it even harder now for Republicans to criticize this pick? Because he went in a direction, we don't even know the pick yet.
Well, right. I think that's the key point. You need to know who the pick is. You need, before we even get to predicting votes, it depends who the pick is and what her credentials are. We now know that he's going to pick a black woman. We need to know what her credentials are, what she's done.
The top three are pretty well credentialed.
I would say very well qualified.
Let me put them up here. Ketanji Brown Jackson, Leandra Kruger is on the California Supreme Court. Michelle Childs is about to be on the D.C. Circuit, although they're delaying her since she's up for this. I mean, these are all, everybody here these resumes look like every other Supreme Court.
Sure, and there's a list beyond this that includes a lot of very well qualified candidates. I don't think there's a problem with Republicans pointing out that Joe Biden made a political argument when he said, in the context of a campaign after having lost in Iowa and New Hampshire, that he was going to pick a black woman. It helped him. It was a political pronouncement. Republicans are fine making that point. I think they'd be wise to wait to look at the actual credentials and the arguments of the women who are nominated.
And the White House was ready for this. I mean, they are prepared for the Republicans to lean in this direction.
Almost
And
like
they came
seemed
out
like
with
they
a
were
statement.
anxious. I hate to say it that way, but like
eager.
they want to play the politics.
There are
Yeah.
people close to the president, political advisors, who do think if Republicans want to pick this fight, it's one they really want to have. It's talk about energizing, in their view.
You're smiling on this.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a strong moment for the Biden presidency. I think if anybody doesn't understand how important black women are to the Democratic Party, they're not paying attention.
Right. Eugene, what does this do? Does this give Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin a chance to sort of repair their relationship with the Democratic base?
It certainly does, and that's something that could very well happen, especially with Manchin, who we remember was very critical of the Republicans last time when Amy Coney Barrett was moved forward very close to the presidential election. So, and they have a track record of supporting the president when it comes to moving forward his judge pick. So it would be consistent of them to do that in this situation.
And Carol, on timing, how fast does the White House want to do
So
this?
that's what's been interesting. I thought Senator Durbin's comments were interesting because he just didn't really weigh in. What you saw was Senate Majority Leader Schumer come out and say, this is going to be really fast, and other Democrats in the White House say, wait, that's not our timeline. We're going to do a deliberative process. The president wants to consult with a number of senators. White House officials say that's his next step to formally do that. They're going to announce soon an outside Sherpa team that's going to come into the White House to do. And so they want to move methodically. If that's fast, they're fine with that, but they want to show that they're doing a very deliberative and thorough process.
Claire, would you use this as cover right now so that you could do Build Back Better negotiations behind the scenes without everybody ankle biting?
I think there is no reason for this to be put on afterburners in terms of speed, and I think the White House realizes that. I think they need to do this flawlessly. They need to make sure that whoever is selected is vetted thoroughly. They need to count some Republican votes before they announce her. And I think all that will happen, and the timing of it, I think late summer would be probably perfect.
Oh, so you would let it drag's the wrong word, let it methodically play out very publicly?
I think so. I mean, the only thing that I'm not up on right now is the health of all the members.
Right, all the all 50.
you know,
That is, I was just going to say,
There are
there's
risks.
always risks. We don't know how to talk about it other than it's called life.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.